Hello, yeah, let's continue the debate between Google stocks and Facebook. So I just want to draw you to this video. I think it's very important. I have picked this article. I think it's actually a very valuable video. I think one of the best research I've seen that compares Facebook and Google.
Now, for the trailing 12 months of earnings, you have Facebook stock at basically at 17.5 P over E, which makes it actually one of the cheapest tech stocks out there. All right, let's look at what's going on between Facebook and Apple. So Apple released some privacy changes last year, and it's making it harder for third-party apps to track users. So here's kind of this pop-up, and according to AppsFlyer in October of last year, they suggest that 62% of iPhone users were actually opting out and sharing their ID for advertising. And Facebook CFO yesterday during the earnings call said the impact of this iOS change overall is a headwind in our business in 2022 in the order of $10 billion. So Facebook is expecting kind of a loss of $10 billion in revenue because of just this one privacy change. Also, Facebook's focus on the metaverse could be spooking investors, and they could be seen as a loss of focus from their core apps, kind of their core advertising focus. And further, a lot of people think the metaverse is a long ways off, and it's not something that most investors or analysts can actually put into their spreadsheets because it's kind of an unknown and uncertain figure. All right, in summary, Facebook stock is getting hit hard for several reasons. First, growth is stalling, and then revenue is being hit by Apple's privacy changes, so it's uncertain in the future. And then also they're spending big on the metaverse and the reality labs, but it's really an uncertain future of how this is going to turn out. All right, let's compare Facebook stock with a few other tech stocks. First, Apple. So Apple trades at a premium over Facebook, and for a few reasons. First, investors know that people are going to be using their iPhones like a lot in 10 years. It's not something that's probably going to go away soon. However, with Facebook, there's a lot more uncertainty. You just don't know how much people are going to be using Facebook and Instagram, WhatsApp, let's say 10 years in the future. Further, Apple is monetizing their phone usage, which is pretty, certain sturdy with services, and they've got a big moat with device. They make some of the best devices, and their operating system is hard to beat, right? iOS operating system. Versus compared to Facebook, Facebook is actually reliant on Apple's mobile operating system in order, right, to access users and to operate their app on this platform. So this begs the question: should Facebook make a phone, right, make their own operating system? Paul Graham, he's the founder of Y Combinator. He thinks that it's time for Facebook to get to work on that phone. Humans, like animals, are most dangerous when threatened. If I were Tim Cook, I'd have thought twice before threatening Zuck. I replied to Paul Graham and I said, curious, what would be Facebook's strategy to gain market share in a phone market that's dominated by network effect leaders like iOS and Android? Meaning, there's just a lot of dominance with iPhone and Android, and it might be a tough uphill road for Facebook to get into that market. All right, let's compare Facebook with Google stock. So Google has three large businesses: search, YouTube, and cloud compute, along with their business services. Now, Google has a dominant position with Google Search, and Search has a very strong network effect. Further, YouTube and Google Cloud are actually on their steep slope of the S-curve. If you look at YouTube ad revenue for Q4 of 2020, it was at $6.9 billion. In Q4 of 2021, it was at $8.6 billion. So you see a big increase. Further, Google Cloud, Q4 of 2020 was $3.8 billion. A year later, in Q4 of 2021, it's $5.5 billion. Google still has a lot of businesses that are still growing quite fast. Further, Google owns their own mobile operating system, Android, and this is huge because it's kind of insurance. In case they have, let's say, a spat with Apple in the future, they still have, right, their own mobile operating system. They're not reliant on another kind of provider. Further, Google has a dominant desktop web browser, Chrome, so they're ensuring access to people on the web as well. Google Chrome browser is basically at 67, 72%, 63% across different, market share estimates. All right, let's look at a few of Facebook's strengths, and they do have actually quite strong ones. So they have a strong offering to advertisers. They're offering personalized and direct ads, and to a lot of businesses, right? Facebook has the best ad platform out there. Next, they have a strong product suite. So you got Facebook, which is a huge app. You got your feed there, groups, video, dating, marketplace, a bunch of other services there. You have Instagram, you have WhatsApp. So their product suite is very strong. And next, they've got a strong engineering team. And yeah, they have one of the best AI research labs out there as well. Facebook does have its challenges. First, they don't own their own mobile platform, so they could be at the mercy of
Need to
another
find the
company
next
like
S
Apple. Next is they need to find their next S curve in their current or future products. In other words, they need another thing that could grow bigger and can fuel their growth into the future. If they don't find that, then yeah, it could be kind of a world of pain and hurt for Facebook. Also, it's possible culture can be turning against Facebook. There's been a lot more complaints, like let's say delete Facebook and a bunch of other people complaining about Facebook's practices. Also, TikTok is a huge growing kind of phenomenon, and it could be eating Facebook's lunch, not just Facebook app, but also Instagram. And also, they're betting big on metaverse. But what if the metaverse is still a long way off? This could be something that, yeah, Facebook could be waiting on for quite a while. So overall, Facebook is an interesting lesson on how the market treats a growth stock once it's having challenges to grow. And if you look at today, yeah, 25% drop just in one day. That's what the market does. All right, finally, I want to compare Facebook stock with top just in one day. That's what the market does. All right.
Yeah, so as you can see, um, this is a very good article on about Facebook and Google in comparison. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.